Welcome to the Spilled Ink and Coffee Show, where we take book discussions to a new level. We don't just read books, we interview them, journal about them, sip coffee, spill thoughts, and explore stories on and off the page. Grab a cup and get cozy, because every book deserves a great conversation.
This is Gasp, Pad Thai Part 2. Buckle up, Bookish Space Cadets. Things are about to get extra. This week, we attempted a civilized book club conversation, but this is Gasp off the rails in the cosmos. So you already know decorum doesn't stand a chance.
Good morning, friends.
Hi, friends.
We're here. It's the Spilled Ink and Coffee Show. It's another beautiful morning in Clearwater, Florida. We're at Chez David, waiting for our second cup of coffee.
In some cases, our third cup of coffee. But who's judging?
No one's is judging at all.
No one's judging.
I'll keep working on this, that, and the other thing. And Rachel has just shared that she has not done a ton of reading this week because you all have been following now that she's in the show. Rehearsals.
We're going to attempt to run through the show.
Yay. I got my ticket.
Yay. Yeah, I saw you. Did you also get Alyssa Edwards tickets?
I did. At the Capitol Theater, and I haven't been at that theater yet.
It's really nice. Yeah, did I tell you Rebecca and I have tickets to that?
No. What night are you guys going?
There's only one night.
Oh, we're going that same night.
We're going, the 18th of Sunday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you get meet and greets? Because
No.
we did not. They're already gone.
They were gone, so we're down on the floor.
Okay.
A lot of the good tickets were already gone when I bought mine. We're over...
Oh my gosh, I wonder how close we are.
On the side, I think we're like row T or something.
Hold on. We might be like right in front of you.
Rebecca and I saw Jinx Monsoon and Ben De La Creme, their Christmas show
there. Was that awesome?
It was so good, but we were up in the balcony, so I knew I didn't want to be in the balcony for this one. So I got down on the floor. So that's Rebecca was very excited because I didn't even ask her.
Yeah, you just got him.
I saw him and I got him. I'm like, well, if she's here, she's here. If she's not, I'll bring Kasie. But apparently, I'll bring somebody else because you're already going to be there.
I'm already going to be there.
I remember when Annie came out, the movie.
The OG movie? With Eileen Quinn?
Yes. That is where I saw it. They used to show movies there. I mean, it's just one theater, but that's where I saw Annie for the first time. It was at the Capitol Theater.
I don't even want to put a date on that movie because I know it's like early 80s. It had to be early.
I want to say it was like maybe 83, 84. I feel like 84 might be too late.
Eileen Quinn, They Searched the World. I remember the Annie auditions and everything that was happening.
Thank you. Fourth cup of coffee.
Merci beaucoup. Please, did I do it good? I've been practicing. Yes, please.
No, this is my third cup.
That's your third?
Third.
Oh.
I've been making before rehearsal. I've been making an iced coffee.
Ooh.
In the afternoons to get me pumped up for rehearsal because I hit like this 3 o'clock lag. I'm like, now I need to go practice my lines.
That's because we get up early. I don't think people understand that we're up early. And so, yes, we're going to hit the 3 o'clock lag, especially if they want us to function past 5.
Yeah.
Because we're 4 or 5 a.m.ers.
I'm a 6 a.m.er.
6 a.m.ers.
I'm a 6 a.m.er.
But that's still really early for the day.
It is, especially lately because and we've talked about this before, I can't shut my brain down. So rehearsal ends at 9 and like from 6 to 9 my brain is just constantly spinning because I'm trying to remember lines, remember blocking, remember intention. That's new. The remembering the intention is new.
And it's excellent. I love this.
And then I come home. By the time I get home, it's like 9:15, and I'm like, okay. Now what?
Right.
Okay, I'm going to try to go to bed. And then I lay there like, but I'm too tired to like read and comprehend. But I just can't shut it down. So the 6 a.m. is tough right now. It'll get better.
So have you've read?
Well, I've only So the good news is when we get together next week, I will have at least 2 books finished because I'm almost done with this audio book that I will talk about next time.
Cool.
And then I'm halfway through Sunrise on the Reaping, which is the new Hunger Games book.
Which I have seen a lot of video responses on. I love the repost I think that you did of the guy, and he's like, doing all the gasping and throwing the book. I was like, that's how I felt about the last book.
It is that video, and I, at that point, had only read 100 pages, and I had already had 2 moments.
So I should bump this up on my list.
Well, and I did. Like, I probably, because I just bought it, I probably would have waited, but it was like, I have to read this. And I've now read, so I've read I'm almost done. I will have, by next week, I will have read all the Hunger Games. I've also read, she's got another, like, younger kid series, like Gregor the Overlander, whatever. She should only write in the world of the Hunger Games. Maybe it's just because the other one was too young for me, but it's so good. It's real. I'm halfway done, and I have gasped multiple times, and that's what makes, to me, and I shouldn't be talking. I should talk about this next week. To me, that's what makes a really good writer. We all know how this ends. We all know Haymitch wins. That's a known. So it's, how do you still tell this story gasp-worthy? How am I still, how are you making this exciting when everybody knows the ending? And she has.
So she's brilliant.
Yeah.
Can't wait to read it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what makes this different, because the songbird and the snake and the songbird, whatever the one that was about Snow, we didn't know a whole lot about Snow in his early life. We just knew him as the president. So she kind of had more free reign to do
character development.
Create that.
Sure.
We knew he was going to eventually be the president, but like, how did he get there? We have no idea how he got there. With this one, we know Haymitch was picked, Haymitch wins. It's the in-between thing. And she brings back some characters that we've met before. So we see them we see Plutarch. But anyway, stop talking, Rachel, because you haven't finished the book.
But you're passionate and excited about it, which makes me passionate and excited.
So
that's
a next time
that's
conversation.
Okay, no big deal.
So the only book that I have finished since last week was Before the Coffee Gets Cold.
And that's interesting because, guys, we talk about this one in a review that's
up right now.
Is that one we just talked about?
The one you just posted.
It just came out yesterday. I live in the future in the podcast. Rachel lives as it's happening for you.
Yes, you're in the future. I'm in the present.
That's correct. So now we're going to see how Rachel felt about this book. We are very different in our rating.
We are very different.
I love this. All right. So
for the record, just as a refresher, because this is several episodes later, remind everybody how you felt about this book.
I gave it 5 stars. I gave it 5 stars. I'm even going to open up my journal so that way I can look at my
didn't you label it as like best of 20 or possible best of 2025?
Possible best of 2025 for me. 5 stars. I gave it a 2-page spread, and I wrote so much stuff about it because I loved it. I felt that it was intimate magic, and I loved how we had all these rules and how we could travel back in time and how she gets to meet her daughter and all the things which we don't want to spoil because everybody will have a different opinion about this book. Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Physical, contemporary fiction, 286 pages, Hanover Square Press. I'd ask what made you pick up this book, but it was my review. What were your first thoughts when you started reading?
And I do say this in my review. I really enjoyed the first story. and as I was reading, I could definitely see how this was a play or would make a good play. It could be a series of one acts almost. I really, I got it. That first story, I flew through. I read it so fast. And then...
Oh, she's taking a breath and hesitating. And I just read the first line of your review that this book was sweet, but it was too sad for you to give it more stars.
Yeah.
So it resonated a different emotion for you.
Yeah, it was sad to me. There was joy in the sadness, as there always is. You just have to look for it. I know that. And it's probably a lot to do with personal experience in the last 3 years for me and dealing with loss. Once you got to the story of the sisters, I
told you I started crying.
That's where it,
for you.
It's a good book. It's well written. I think it's just because of the sadness, the heaviness of it. Despite the joy, the heaviness overtook it. So that's why it was a 3-star for me.
I have to ask, and this is what makes what we do in our books, aside from the podcast, because that came way later, and this is what I love about how you got me into journaling and how we have always talked books, is how we see the world. Because Rachel, my friend who loves historical fiction that is ultra heavy and rooted in reality, finds this one extraordinarily sad.
Yeah, I think because
I want to understand your thread of emotions as a reader.
Okay, I don't know if this is going to make any sense, but this is what I'm going to say. This was a small sadness. This was sadness on a small scale. This was one person, one relationship. And I know a lot of times in the historical fiction I read, probably more specifically with World War II, but I don't always just read World War II historical fiction. But that's sadness on a larger scale. Granted, a lot of times it's one person's loss, but it's a loss amongst a lot of losses. Like I lost my sister, but it's a loss because she was fighting for something bigger, and it was a big, this loss was smaller to me. Does that make any sense?
I think so. I think I'm understanding and grasping the concept.
Yeah. There was joy in the loss. There was in all the stories that, and really all of them dealt with loss, but in the 4 stories that all dealt with loss.
It said the first one you thought was the happiest of them all.
The happiest of them all. But not to give anything away, because that was the only one that didn't deal with the death.
Right.
So I just felt that, there was joy there. There was love renewed, love found. But dang it was sad. So it was a more personal loss. It doesn't really make sense, but that's what I'm going to go with.
I know you so well that I understand what you are trying to convey. I know that was a loaded question, and in no way, shape, or form will I ever try and dissuade you to be like, color in 2 more of those stars, Rachel, because this is the point of the stories. The point of what we are reading is to invoke emotion, and how that affects us is how that affects us.
Right.
That's our perception.
And what you read and how you take it in is going to be different than how I read and take it in, but that's still
and how the listeners read and take it in.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I did not look on Goodreads to see what the average rating of the universe is on this particular book. Did you?
I did.
And what did you see?
It hovers right around 3.5 stars.
Okay, so everybody's pretty divided.
And I looked at after I read it and after I wrote the review, I looked at some of the reviews, and it's, when people don't like it, it's because it was sad.
Interesting.
I think based on the jacket cover and based on the description and all of those things, I think people who were disappointed thought they were getting a different book than what they got.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense, because after I read the jacket cover, I knew what I was getting. I'm actually going to reference an old book.
Okay.
A Raisin in the Sun.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful story.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it on stage.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that because this was, like we both know, a stage play first, maybe had we both seen this on stage,
right,
then we would probably both land at a 4. That's my hypothetical guess, is we'd wind up meeting in the middle on this one, because my magical imagination and the fantasy part of time travel was what was forward for me.
Okay.
Which makes sense with who I am.
Right. And that was just like a plot point to me. That wasn't, I mean, obviously it was a big part of the book, but that wasn't.
And to me, that was the whole essence, is that I could teleport through time sitting in this chair at a coffee shop.
Yeah, and I was thinking about the outcome,
humanity, the humanity part.
Why you went into it, what prompted you to go sit in that chair, and what was the outcome of you sitting in that chair. So that's...
And now seeing it on stage, I think your star would go up because you're actually seeing the humanity come to life.
Right.
And my star would go down because you can't really convey the magic of the transportation and really what that feels like to go through time and space to go to a destination to change inevitably your heart.
Right. Right.
That's just my thought. It's a hypothesis. Somebody tell us if you're staging the freaking play so we can come watch it. Did the book hook you right away, or did it take time?
It did. With that first story, it absolutely hooked me.
I was the opposite.
That's right, you were.
I was the opposite. So that just shows who we are. Anything about the writing style. Because it is a translation,
and that's why I have a hard time talking about the writing style, because it is a translation. Word choices, I think, are lost in translation. So I think this is more of a story. Like the storytelling is what comes across in a translation, more so than the words themselves.
Any favorite character? My future journal is going to have that as a
Your favorite character?
My favorite character. Because we read so much, I sometimes am crossing stories.
I think it was, I'm probably mispronouncing her name, Kazu. It was Kaazu.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was there for all of it, and yeah. She would have been my favorite character.
Any characters you disliked, or a character you found frustrating?
The sister.
These are hard names. I know.
Yeah,
I
and
had the same issues.
and I just read it. It was the one that starts with an H. It was the sister who owns the bar. It's
okay. Her. Everybody's gonna have to understand that
it was her.
That's where we are. So, memorable, most powerful scene you said was the first story.
Yeah.
What theme or big idea stood out to you?
That you can't change the past, and you really can't change the present.
It's like you can't change the actions.
Right. But outcomes are yet to be determined.
So people change your perspectives, your minds, and your hearts.
Yes.
If you want a different outcome for the future.
Yeah.
Which I think that's a lesson that we're taught a lot that we don't listen to until we are much older and wiser. And even then, I think sometimes we miss that message. We miss it. What do you wish was done differently?
I wish there was more happiness. I wish there was at least maybe another little story in there of where we see that it's not a sad moment, it's a happy moment.
Because this has many books in the series and they have many more short stories that take place in the coffee shop, I'm going to read the next one, and I'll be curious to find out if that actually is different, and maybe they should have, in the translation, feathered them in different succession.
And normally I would put a book in a series in my series tracker. I'm going to wait on this, and I want to hear your thoughts on the second book before I commit to making this a series. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
Because
if it's a continual, not ending, spiraling, that everybody goes there because they have a sad story, not because of something happy.
Yeah.
Then why read it if it's just going to bring your spirits down?
I cry in books. I don't have a problem crying in books. Absolutely. But
we're gasping in books right now.
I'm gasping in books right now, and I will probably cry at the end of that book. But that's fine. That doesn't bother me. It's just
anything that made you think differently about anything. Did this book give you a different perspective on anything in life?
I think, again, it goes back to how something so small can have such a big change in the outcome of something. Like doing one thing different, having one extra conversation, giving one more smile to someone, how that has a ripple effect that 3 years from now could have a different outcome.
I hope everybody paid attention. If you didn't, rewind and re-listen to what Rachel just said, because it is some of the best advice that I've received, and I needed a reminder, and thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Any plot holes or anything that didn't make sense? Because you've chopped this into little stories.
I chopped it into standalone stories. That's how I read it. So, no, I felt like it was what it was. It was consistent.
If this book had a theme park ride, what would it be like? Terrifying, boring, confusing? Like, give me its theme park ride.
I'm going to go with Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, because what you think you're going into as just a fun la 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 Disney dark ride takes a left turn into, whoa, actions have consequences. What are we doing in hell? Okay, now we're back. So I feel like, I'm not saying that, going into the past or going to the future time traveling was going to hell, but it was that left turn where you're like, well, I'm expecting this to happen, and it didn't. So yes, I'm going with Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
I love that.
Yeah. Or actually, if you're at Disney World, the ride that took its place, Winnie the Pooh's Adventure, because it kind of does the same thing.
Wait, you're telling me Winnie the Pooh's Adventure takes a dark turn?
Not a dark turn, but a psychedelic turn. Because there's this dream sequence that instead of going to hell, he has this wild dream, and you're like, what was in Pooh's honey when he ate that? Because
it's similar to the Winnie the Pooh ride that took the place of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Yeah.
So really what you're going to tell me is it's Mr. Toad's Wild Ride that morphed into the Winnie the Pooh psychedelic journey.
Yes, we'll go with that.
That's actually pretty good. I would actually agree with you on that. If I couldn't have said that better. And I read this book, I do agree with you for all the different reasons why. Very interesting. Would you recommend this book?
I would. I just probably wouldn't recommend it to someone who has recently experienced a loss. I would say be removed from whatever that loss was before you tackle this book. And tackle this book isn't the right word. Tackle this book implies that it's like a job or something hard to get through, and that's not what this is. But
so the type of reader that would pick up this book is, don't say someone that's experiencing loss, but somebody who is, go the other way with it. Because we just learned from the book, let's change the perspective.
Okay.
So now we just said, would you recommend it? but who would likely pick it up?
Someone who is looking for an easy read, but at the same time a thought-provoking read, because it is an easy read, but it is, for something that's so easy, it is still so thought-provoking.
Brilliant. But she gave it middle of the road, friends, and that's totally okay. That's why we do this. What's up and coming? Because we know that
So I am reading Sunrise and the Reaping. I'm listening to the Au Pair Affair.
Say that 9 times fast.
No. Insert heavy eye roll and heavy sigh. You'll find out when I'm done with it. And then after that, I will be listening to Austin at Sea, which is another audiobook that is an arc about 2 sisters who love Jane Austen. And then the next book after the Sunrise and the Reaping will be The Bones Beneath My Skin by T.J. Klune.
Which I'm curious about that.
Me too. It's been on my TBR for 2 months, so I'm going to knock it out.
The title is very intriguing.
Yes.
Very intriguing.
That's where we are.
And that's the ink from Rachel, guys. Remember, she's in a show. She's performing an adaptation of a book. It's very exciting. It's next level with what we do. She's very committed to this, guys.
This is and this is going to be a low book count month for sure for me. They've all been.
That's okay. You've been giving us so much.
11 and 12 books that I'm. Yeah, because this is my 38th book. So
of the year.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? 38th of the year. And your average per month,
it's
somebody can do the math. It looks like it's probably 12 books a month.
Yeah, it was 12 in January, 11 in February, 12 in March. April's going to be
12 a month. I don't even track this. I'm pretty sure mine is just 2 a month.
April is going to be probably single digits. So
nothing wrong with that. It's okay.
No, and that's okay. That's okay, because life. So yeah.
Life. All right, friends. So my goal in my journal is to, because I did some pages ahead of time,
right,
is to go back and finish these books. So I'm just going to,
merci beaucoup for cup number 4.
She's counting the cups. Okay, sure. I'll join her in cup number 3.
Woohoo!
No, tiny box for the salad.
Yes.
I just got too much in a conversation and that croissant that I didn't care. So my up and coming audio, Zecharia Sitchin, The Lost Realm, so I can finish that audio.
Right.
And then the physical book, Siddhartha. So those are the 2 that are my up and coming. And we'll just go on from there. Now, as I filled in...
Oh, you finished Orbital?
Finally. I finally finished Orbital, which...
Okay, you gave it 4 cups of coffee.
In my mind, I was going with 3, but then I hit this one particular chapter, and then I bumped it up to 4 because I loved this one particular chapter where the author decided to give a different explanation to the creation of the universe, and I loved it.
Okay, so this is Orbital by Samantha Harvey. It is a science fiction novella. Is it classified as a novella?
Yeah, I looked it up.
207 pages is a novella?
I told you, we're off on whatever's current in the world regarding what's what. I even looked up, and I'm backtracking, I know we're talking about the book. I looked up Welcome to Nightvale, and it is an episodic. This is how it's classified as episodical fiction.
Okay.
Which is such a weird area, but it puts it more on the side of book than it does podcast.
Got it. That makes sense.
It's an episodic fictional audio is its full title.
Okay.
It's not classified one way or another, but we'll get back over to that in a minute.
So, space shreds time to pieces. It's as if night has no idea it's about to be obliterated by day. Woo! Buddy. That's a good quote.
So this is a story about 8 astronauts that are from all around the world. So you have a cosmonaut, you have someone from Japan, you have an American. So we have all of these astronauts from different countries living on a space station. And each orbit, they give you orbit ascending, orbit descending around the Earth. What's happening, and they switch focus into each character's life and what it's like to be an astronaut trapped on a space station away from all your creature comforts on Earth and what that looks like to them.
Okay.
So to them, when the sun rises, it looks like the sun is obliterating the planet. And they describe that as you further read to them what that perspective is, looking at Earth from orbit.
Okay, you say this is very cerebral.
It's so cerebral. It's just, I don't know how I get wrapped into descriptive writing, but now we're going to take descriptive writing in science that's rooted with, she actually wrote this in tandem with a few NASA scientists.
Okay.
And then we're going to put the fiction woven in there with it. So it is extraordinarily cerebral. Everything that she writes about and how she describes it, just even with the chapters of how the universe was created, we think of it as a Big Bang theory, and she puts it on like specific dates, like on December the 24th in the year such and such billions of years ago. This is,
this is what happened.
The sun burst into existence from a celestial, and now just keep going from there with more words of science and cosmic. But she gives it, like, she follows a calendar with each piece of the universe and how it was created. And it was on January 5th, the author says, that the Milky Way galaxy came into existence, which I find even more interesting because in Catholicism or Christianity, that's Little Christmas, the 5th of January, which is
Three Kings Day.
Yes.
Dios de los Reyes.
Which is that whole chapter, that's when I bumped it up to the 4th.
Okay.
Because it got so cerebral that I didn't even know at some points, were we talking anymore about the astronaut, or is the astronaut even present? Have they lost their minds? And at one point, somebody even says, and I don't know if I wrote this down, that they felt being on the space station, and of course she has all of this because she's spoken to astronauts and cosmonauts, that they felt like this is what they were dead. Like they felt like they were not of this world. I'm pretty sure
maybe all of us born to it have already died and are in an afterlife. Okay.
Later, they go on to say that maybe we are the new dinosaurs, and we're just waiting for our ending. I mean, I can't imagine being trapped on a space station for a year or longer, and what that would be like, because we've grown accustomed to all of this on Earth.
Right.
And how you occupy your day. And they go through what they do during their day, and it's mundane, and they even go on to say that robots could do our job.
So you quoted that.
And you don't even need the human involvement in space exploration.
Well, the thing that you say last, which is very interesting considering this is a novella, learn something, is it could have been shorter.
Yeah, because we just went on and on and on and on and on in the writing, to the point where honestly, I was in the psychedelic part of Winnie the Pooh's ride.
Okay.
I might as well have taken a freaking gummy and kept reading, because then I think I would have been in a higher plane of existence to read what she wanted me to read about.
Excuse me while I spit my coffee through my nose.
The beginning was great. I was so into it and I loved it. And then it just kept going. And I really was like, oh, I need mushroom coffee for this one.
Okay, so did the book hook you right away?
Yes.
And then it
totally spiraled down.
Or we could do the train sound off the rails.
That was a good one too.
That wasn't a train. I think that's more of a car, like going off the road.
That's exactly how it went. It was only the creation chapter that brought it back for a hot minute. If I could do, maybe I'll half that cup somehow. I'll white out half of it. It should only have 3.5.
Just put a sticky note over half of it, then ink it, then stamp it.
Okay, I'll do that.
That's how you get a half.
That's how I get a half?
That's how you get a half.
She's so smart, guys. I hope you heard that. It's only 3.5 cups of coffee on my thing. I'm totally doing that.
So who was your favorite character and why?
I actually wrote down, if you could, her name is Chi.
Okay.
And she is from China, I believe, I'm pretty sure. And she is my favorite character because she's the only one that had any kind of emotion I could relate to, and it's actually quite deviant. It wasn't until and that's, again, towards the end of the book, when she was just thinking about murdering everybody on the space station because she felt like she was losing her mind because she had been there for so long.
Okay.
That I said, okay, now we can make this a movie, and it's based all upon her and her twisted, deviant mind, because this got to her psyche, which you go through a psych eval. You have to have no human emotion to be chosen really as an astronaut. Maybe just an inkling because of the pressures of, being in small spaces and not minimal human contact.
Right.
Or maybe you're up there with somebody you don't even like. And it's not like you're all having sex up there. You're not all like, you don't even, and when you come around orbit, there's only certain times you can communicate with Earth. You're not in constant communication in orbit. So at some point she started feeling like she was losing her mind and she was going crazy. And it was just a brief moment of her saying, I just want to murder everybody, like legit. And I'm like, finally, something that brought me back out of my, gummy high that it should have been on.
Gummy high. Did y'all say you were reading The Silent Patient?
I read a book club book.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Did you read it?
Yeah, but it's been a while.
Oh, she has, I just read a book. I got it from the library of hers. It's called, what is it? It's in my book journal.
Your book journal's over there.
My book journal's over here.
And then here, we'll give the ladies our little cards so they know who we are and what we do.
So I record. So it's, I just checked it out. Oh, none of this is true.
Okay.
It's so good. If you want, we have our book podcast.
Okay.
If you want to check it out, we also are starting a book club.
Well, here's the thing. Our book club does not have assigned reading. It's, you bring your favorite book that month, and then we just talk about it, and we manage the questions and so on to keep the conversation going. It's just to open up everybody's minds, not with an assigned book, but to see, oh my goodness, that's amazing that you read that. Let me write that down and take a read and see how that is.
Cormac McCarthy he's a love-hate. I was introduced to him in college, and that was...
Did you like it?
I really enjoyed All the Pretty Horses. That was one of my favorites. And then I read The Road, and I was like, I'm so tired. And so that's kind of how I feel now whenever I read a Cormac McCarthy I'm so tired.
Ours is a virtual club, though. I said our book club's virtual. You do it on Zoom. We just give you you just scan it, and then you can just register, follow the link and register. And then we just talk about your favorite read. It's really quite easy. This is why we journal our books. Yeah. So that way we can go back.
Let me see your
Well, this is hers.
This one's my journal. It's different than a little bit how Rachel journals. My name is Kasie, by the way.
So do you want one page for each book and then write a little bit?
Yeah,
that's the easiest way to get started. And I'm switching from a smaller book to a bigger book.
Because I have a bigger book.
The bigger book, I have much more to say. I need the bigger book. We like scrapbooking with the journal.
Yeah,
That's
this gives us a chance to be creative. So I have I think we both use it now.
Yes.
It's a Canon Ivy printer. It's a little printer that's about this big that prints them out that size or smaller.
That's the name of
that's the printer. Yeah.
That's the book.
Yes, that's the book. Mm-hmm. That's the cover. Yeah. Yeah. There's always, we're the same way. There's always a book going in the car and a book I'm reading. Yeah. And if there's any sort of drive, like I went up to Ocala last weekend, that was 4 hours in the car. Knocked out half a book.
I drive more.
Oh, yeah.
Have you read Briar Club?
Yes.
I'm reading that now. I think.
Have you read anything else by Kate Quinn?
No. I like her.
I really like her. The Alice Network was good. The Briar Club is probably one of my favorites that she's written, just because I feel like a lot of times it gets like things get stuck in the 1940s, and it's cool that this one was set during the Cold War. I just thought it was neat. But the Rose Code was really good by her. The Alice Network. I enjoy Kate Quinn. Well, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I heard the Silent Patient. I was like, I love that book.
I mean, we could just tie up this
Okay.
book. I mean, guys, Orbital, it's cerebral. Do drugs while you read it.
Yeah,
That's where we're at.
we're doing drugs. All right. It looks like
All right, so Nightvale we already talked about, and I decided because they have such cool fan art that I'm printing the fan art.
I like the fan art.
Now, we could talk about this next time. Did you listen to the song?
Yeah, I did.
Right?
I've heard that somewhere before.
Let me tell you, that song is why it got the extra cup of coffee in the rating.
Okay. Yeah,
But this is going to be a whole discussion because I finished it, because I know our time is short. But let's just skip over to the one that I know will not take up a lot of time.
Oh, the answer is no, by Fredrik Backman. This was an audio. It is you said it was short story. This says it's a short story, but then on Amazon, I think it classifies it as a novelette.
Wow, see?
Whatever.
I think short story and novelette are the same thing, and no one's figured that out yet.
Not now, Linda. Okay, so I talked about this book already, so this is one that you've read since last week. Give me your...
I did this mowing the lawn. I told you I was going to go home and mow the lawn and listen to it. I listened to it when I pulled out of the parking lot. I started, and I heard that it was a woman that was narrating. I wasn't sure how I was going to navigate that because I like men narrators. It has nothing to do with other than I just like the richness and the depth of the tone of a male voice. That's all.
Yeah.
However, she's funny. I wonder if she's a comedian because the voices that she did,
I know,
like
especially
this,
Lucas.
Lucas's voice was like this, and I could just picture what Lucas looked like because of how she did the voice, and I was hooked. Her voices killed me.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was like an SNL sketch.
Yeah.
A long SNL sketch.
Well, and I love that you said, this is how I felt about it too. Ridiculous, but very plausible.
It was.
Like a frying pan turns into a pile, turns into a hill.
I kind of felt like that as the apartment complex 5 blocks from my house. It's probably happening to some person over there, this exact situation. And then when you were telling me about the board and all the heads of the board, I just was picturing for some reason like a 5-headed dragon when we discussed this. I mean, it might as well have been a 5-headed,
It might have, yes.
5-headed dragon, but then when she started talking about these people, I was like, oh my God, people really are insane like this. This writer was telling a true story. This had to be their experience. These people exist.
Yes.
I've seen them. I've worked with them. I live with them.
You weren't there, so we put you in charge.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, everything from getting the neighbor, and it's like, oh, you didn't miss that cheese. And I would have lost my shit. I would have been like, woman, that's my cheese.
You went through my grocery bag.
Right. And did you cough on your hand before you touched my food? Like, I totally would have been next level about this whole situation. Definitely ridiculous, but very plausible. This is reality at its finest. And you don't need a gummy for this.
And it was nice and short and like so
dynamic. It was dynamic.
I just laughed. I mean, because what else can you do but laugh through the ridiculousness?
Okay.
I just want to play my video game.
We all know that guy. We all know that guy. We all know both of these neighbors that are on each side of that guy. We all know these board members.
Yep, 100%.
The citation guy was the only guy that. Well, this is classified as a da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I was like, oh man, code enforcement.
I know.
We know that guy too. So it was everything you said it was, and a bag of chips. It got the 5 5-cup of coffee review on that one. And mowing the lawn while you do this, I almost peed my pants a couple times because I drink a lot of water when I mow the lawn.
As you should. It's warm.
But this, you are laughing a lot. A lot.
Yes.
I do have to say, though, my favorite part was how she did Lucas's voice. I really do. And this could be a comedy skit on a stage also.
Yes.
Or it could be an SNL skit. She was fabulous. I was very surprised that I enjoyed the narrator.
No, this was a great read.
So, and guys, we audioed it. I don't think you would get the same effect if you actually read this as words. I think you need to listen to her.
And okay, so here's an interesting point. Keep in mind, this is a translation.
Really?
Yes, it was originally written in Swedish. This is a translation.
Wow. Well, this person, whoever translated it, did a great job.
Elizabeth Denoma translated it.
Elizabeth, props to you, because obviously with translations, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about that with Don't Let the Coffee Get Cold. That was a translation. This was, yeah.
And that's interesting because I read a lot of translations, but I've never given any thought to, is it easier or harder to translate from certain languages? So is a Japanese translation going to be harder than a Swedish translation, or is it really dependent on the person who's translating? And we're limited to those people because not everybody speaks dual languages.
Yep.
And not everybody who speaks dual languages is a good storyteller.
Correct.
So,
okay.
There's a lot of conundrums there.
So, would you recommend this book?
100,000,000%. Everybody should listen to this book just to remind you you're not alone. You're not alone.
Okay, can we do a quick fire on this one
Okay,
to end this one out?
Let's try it.
Okay. If this book had a smell, what would it be?
Decaying pad thai at the bottom of a pile.
Oh my God, I love that. Who in this book is definitely 2 raccoons in a trench coat?
The neighbor who steals the cheese. She keeps coming back and back with all these ridiculous
The lady
things.
in the purple dress.
Is that what we named her?
That's all she's called.
The
She
lady
doesn't the lady in the purple dress.
Oh my gosh, it's my mom.
If the villain had therapy, would there still be a villain?
That's interesting because now I have to define who is the villain in this. I have a lot of options.
You do?
The villain could be the lady in the purple dress because she's out of her mind stealing things. The villain could be the board heads because they're the ones who put Lucas in charge. The villain could be Lucas because Lucas didn't stand up for him herself.
It could be the code enforcer.
It could be the code enforcement because the code enforcement is always the villain. What was the question?
If they had therapy, would they still be the villain?
Yes, all of these people would still be all of these people.
And they're all in need of therapy. Which character would get scammed by a prince from Nigeria?
The other neighbor who orders the pad thai with the peanuts. Or without the peanuts, rather.
Peanuts.
Because he likes the peanuts. That neighbor does without peanuts.
I was going to go with the cult followers.
The cult followers. I forgot about the cult
Don't forget about the cult follower, the cult of the angel.
Oh my gosh, the cult of the angel. That's right. There's just so much going on.
It's so, again, ridiculous.
But you're right, it turned into a cult. There is a whole cult in there, guys.
Yeah, there's a whole cult.
However, I am going to say I would not group them into the villains. I think still everybody else is a villain, but not the cult because they have they have their own situation.
They have their own. They have their own therapy need. If you had to fist fight one character in a Walmart parking lot at 3 a.m., who would it be?
Lucas, because Lucas isn't going to fight back. Lucas is just going to stand there and go, okay, you win. Can I play my video game now?
I like your logic. What's the most chaotic way this book could have ended?
More chaotic than it already
I know.
The cult members became the new board members.
Oh.
the board members then became the new cult. Lucas finds out he's gay, and the code enforcement officer moves in with him.
Cool.
I'm just telling you what
It
I think.
it got chaotic.
We're
fast.
not done. Purple dress lady moves in with the other lady who does not like peanuts on the pad thai, which is the whole reason why pad thai exists, is because of the peanuts. Yes. And then pad thai leaves existence.
No more pad thai.
And that would be the worst way it would end, is pad thai never exists.
Or Lucas. If aliens found this book as their only record of humanity, what would they assume about us?
Sounds about right.
So rename this book in 5 words or less.
Blame it on the pad thai.
Love that. I love that. All right. Well, we've got more to talk about next week.
We both do. Guys, this has been a very unexpected yet delightful, short, sweet, lovely podcast. And we say, that's the ink, guys.
See you next time, friends.
Bye.
That's a wrap. Time to close the book on today's episode. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Kasie. If you had fun, hit the like, follow, and subscribe. Make sure you click on the bell icon.
You can also email us at spilledinkinkcoffeeshow@gmail.com. Send us your questions, tell us what you're reading, or share what we should dive into.
Until next time, keep your coffee hot
and your pages turning.
Bye, guys.
Spilled ink, endless coffee, and great book chats. That's what we're all about.
If you're enjoying the podcast and want to help fuel our next episode, buy us a coffee.
Click the link in our show notes or bio.
Your support means the world, and every sip keeps the pages turning.
Craving bookish banter? The podcast has heard your request and we are answering the call. Hey book lovers, join the Spilled Ink and Coffee Society. We're a monthly virtual book club, but not your typical one. Every first Sunday of the month, 2-ish to 4-ish, we discuss your favorite books. No assigned reading list here. You read what you want, when you want. It's easy. Bring your favorite read. Physical, digital, audio. Even if you don't keep a book journal or analyze every chapter, just bring the book you loved. And don't forget your favorite drink. As we chat, we laugh, we share. Come for the books, stay for the banter. Invite your friends, bookworms, and fellow story lovers, because the more the merrier. So mark your calendars, grab a book, and join us for the Spilled Ink and Coffee Society. Go to our website, thespilledinkinkcoffeeshow.com, and register for free today.